Hi, everybody. Recruiting Animal here on June 21st, 2023. Okay, let me get into this. Okay. HR people, this is my start off question. It's just a softie. Are
Right.
HR people nasty, the henchmen who do all the dirty work for the corporate office and laying people off and scolding them when they break the rules? Or are they warm and compassionate people like the chief happiness officer? Do you know what an RIF is?
A human resource information, whatever?
Reduction in force, okay? He doesn't know what a chief happiness officer is, and he doesn't know what an RIF is either.
Whoa. They call that downsizing. They call that firing. They call that, you give it all kinds of...
You got to stay abreast of the jargon, okay?
No, but why is the jargon there? Why does it change? And you know why it changes? Because there's some freaking consultant that has changed the titles, and now they want to train you on not downsizing, but RIF, reduction in force, and you make it nice. In reality, the whole thing is you're getting fired. You're getting fired. Say it. Fired. And that's what they are.
That's not the same as being fired. They're just
You want to make a bet? There are people that are there working. You're not working.
Yeah, but the reason when you're fired, firing means you're fired for you're doing something wrong, you're underperforming.
But the thing is this, man. Individually, you're out of a job.
Yeah, okay, fine. Objectively, yeah.
You're fired.
Okay, let's leave that behind. I don't like that question. It didn't come out very well. Oh, Ernie, I do have to congratulate you. Based on what you've told us before, I figured out that you are bi-dialectical, okay? There's a Canadian actress. She succeeded Diana Rigg on The Avengers. Linda Thorson. She went to school just around the corner from me. And they said she was bi-dialectical. She could speak like a Canadian, but if she was on British TV, she had a British accent. Somebody's feedback is bugging us, and I think it's Kelly, okay? How are you listening on a speaker?
No, it's Ernie.
No, nobody's making any noise in mine, but anyway, go ahead.
It's Tom. No,
I think it's you.
Fine.
We'll see what happens.
There's nobody here.
That's not what I mean. If you're here listening to us on your speakers, they might be playing back into your mic. Okay, that's what I was talking about.
Okay, I'm muting.
Big biller secrets. Okay, here's the question: if you bill over $500,000 a year, what's the most valuable thing that supports your performance and job satisfaction? Is it something like training, technology, your niche, having a mentor, or being in a peer group? What is it? Now, Rich had an answer. He's not here. Kelly, you're welcome to unmute and talk whenever you want. I'm just letting you know, okay? Here's what Rich says. It's not the tech. It's not the tech. Even though Rich is always into the tech, he says it's not the tech. He said it's a few things. Number one is learning to walk away from bad business. Work on real openings and not the bottom feeder rules. Okay. Okay. So Rich said from bottom feeder rules, I suspect that means if you are a recruiter who doesn't have any money and you're desperate for business, you'll take any job from any client, even if they don't seem reliable and they want you to knock down their fee and they take a long time to get feedback to you after an interview. He said his key is not working with those people, but losers, bottom feeders, they'll work with them and they won't make money that way. Okay. He also says, don't confuse being busy with being productive. Not sure what that refers to. And also, you have to be able to build rapport very quickly. Anybody want to comment on Rich's principles? Kelly, do you build rapport very quickly?
I think so.
Well, what does that mean? You think so?
Yeah. I mean, I think that when people talk to me, they know I've been around in the business for a long time and that I'm not like blowing smoke. And so I cut to the chase, as you probably can tell. Pretty.
What does that mean? No, I can't
tell.
That
means getting to the bottom of asking. That means asking the right questions right away.
Okay. Well, Rich, we're talking about your own answers. You're not, he just showed up, but we're talking about you. Okay. Kelly is saying one of your keys to success, Rich Rosen says, is being able to build rapport very quickly. Kelly says she builds rapport very quickly, and it's just because she knows all the jargon. She knows what an RAF is. She knows what a chief happiness officer is. Not like Ernie, who's never heard those things. Okay. So she knows her way around her niche. Is that what you're saying, Kelly? I feel like I have to pull it out of you. Is that what you're saying? You can talk the talk in your niche. So when you talk to a stranger, they say, "Oh, this Kelly, she's worked on these kind of searches before. She's going to know what I need." Okay. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But I work in a lot of different niches. So
you don't have a niche? You told me you're in healthcare.
I'm in pharma.
Sorry.
Biotech, pharma. Yeah.
Now she says no niche. She's in pharma, but she doesn't have a niche. What does that mean?
Glad I hopped on, Animal.
Okay. Well,
yeah, I have one, but I've worked. I started out working for someone that didn't believe in specializing, and so I had to learn all different kinds of jobs. And so I think the bottom line is that I think if you're experienced, like the people on this call are, the overriding thing you bring to the table is that you know how to talk the talk as a very experienced recruiter, as a subject matter expert in recruiting.
There you go. That's your subject matter. You finally got it. I'm a subject matter expert, even though I'm a generalist. Maybe I'm a subject matter expert in recruiting, even if I don't know anything about their business, their industry, their niche. I can still convey confidence because I show them that I know my recruiting business. I think that's what Kelly's trying to say. It took a little while to spill it out, but now we're going to go to Rich, who actually said that. Because I'll tell you, I do not build rapport quickly. I don't connect with people. I don't connect with people very well. No matter how much I try to suck up to them, it never works.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I try to do. I read the articles, compliment people. They think I'm sucking up. Hey, I see a picture of your kid in the background. They think I'm a pervert for focusing on their kids, right? Yeah. I'm not kidding. I was interviewed on that Recruiters and Boxers, right? Rich was on that too. I got on. I said to Neil, I said, I was at your website. I did a little research beforehand. I said, you've got some very pretty daughters. Pervert. They're teenagers. Look, that happens, right?
Well, yeah, but you don't say that.
They were pretty girls. Okay. Rich, what does building rapport mean to you, since you see it as one of the keys to your success? Okay.
Just to be able to build trust, quickly build some camaraderie, just some,
What do you mean by that? What do you mean? Where's your camaraderie?
It's a very foreign concept to these Canadians.
Good work, Ernie.
Yeah.
I wanted to help you out there. I didn't want you to strain your voice.
Okay. Yeah. Now, but hold on a second. What do you think about Kelly's statement that it's not necessarily knowing your niche, it's knowing being a recruiter? There's something about being a recruiter that you convey to them.
Both. It's great if you know your niche and you know the buzzwords, and you can instantly build rapport with guys by saying, listen, I heard your manager sucks. It's the guy knows the space. But you can also just talk about, I used to do this all the time. You'd watch like the Food Network, and you call some guy in, the middle of some weird town, and be like, hey, I saw this place. Have you ever been to whatever, Joe's Barbecue Shack or something? And, it just builds that little instant camaraderie.
Okay, I forgot. We know what Rich means. He means talk about their kids. Do the exact same thing I tried to do. It doesn't backfire on them.
Their daughters. You talked about their
daughters. As long as you talk about their daughters, it's okay.
He talks about their little kids, which is even worse. Okay.
Keep it to burgers.
And I remember he said, hey, isn't your daughter going to university now or graduating from high school? He says it, and they pay him $1 million. I say it, and they want to go run away from me.
It's not, hey, that's your picture of your daughter's behind you. Look really hot. That's great. That's a different story. It's like, let me turn my camera up for a few minutes. I'll be back. No, saying you've already talked to these people. Like when I say, hey, I saw your kids went to Wisconsin or whatever, it's because I've already talked to them. If I see they went to like Wisconsin or whatever, someplace that I got some kind of tie to, it's easy to say, hey, listen, I saw this on your background. What was your experience there? What was it like? My kids there or whatever.
I don't want to, Kelly is trying to make a choice if she wants to come to this show or the Pistachio show. So I don't want to scare her away from this one, but this is how this show works. This is how this show works. What she said, it sounds good, but when I'm thinking of it, what does it mean? She's a generalist. This is a real question. She was a generalist, and yet she said she can build rapport. That means she really didn't know a lot about the other person's business. I'm going to stick.
I got to put you on hold there. Hang on.
I was going to ask you a question.
Well, hang on. This guy's in the paint.
Okay.
Michael, I would tell you, I know Kelly fairly real well, and I've listened
real
to
well,
her
real well. Okay.
real well. I know what she does, and I'm impressed in how she does her business. I've picked up tips on how she does things like email, texting, calling. She's damn good.
Okay, you got an ad here. Go. Ernie's doing an ad for you. Okay.
Well, she's really good, and you learn a lot.
But I thought you were
Ernie.
chiming in, Ernie, to explain to us what it means to be able to build rapport because you're a good. She's a little girl. Don't show any interest in her. Okay. Even as a person. Okay. So Ernie, I thought you were going to say this is how a recruiter who's a generalist conveys builds confidence just in their ability as a recruiter without knowing anything about the business that you're working in right now.
I've been in the animal kingdom for a very long time. That's your show, the Animal Kingdom. And I've learned one thing: if I say something, you're going to yell at me, man. You're just going to yell. You're going to yell at me. You're going to hurt my feelings.
I give so much praise to you guys. It's unbelievable. Okay. Maybe a newbie like Kelly gets put off. I don't know. Okay. But that's a valid question. Isn't that Kelly?
Kelly?
No, she doesn't have to answer. Ernie wants to answer for her. Go ahead. Somebody tell me.
Because I got yelled at for not muting.
Well, I just don't want any gurgling in the background. But when I actually talk to you, you have to put your mic on, right?
What was the question?
I'm not a lip reader, okay?
What's the question? I forgot.
I'm trying to figure out, because this isn't a realistic question. If you are a generalist recruiter and you don't know anything really about the business of the other person that you're talking to, you claim that you can still build confidence and rapport by showing them you're a knowledgeable recruiter. How do you do that? What is it? Maybe you just have to think of it a little. It won't just tumble off your tongue.
I'm not here to know what my candidates do on, or companies do on I have a general idea of what they do. Most of the people that I place in biotech and pharmaceuticals, I don't know what they do, but I know enough to be able to talk the language, and I know enough to be able to talk the language with new clients, which is how I got into biotech and pharmaceuticals. Before I did it, I did a lot of research. I went on LinkedIn and I called people who were retired out of the industry, and I asked them tons of questions about the different kinds of jobs.
Hold on, you called someone you didn't know up and say, "Hi, my name's Kelly. I want to learn about your business because I'm a recruiter and I need to talk to people and I want to sound knowledgeable." Is that what you said to them? How did you approach those people?
Yeah, so I did. It was somebody who was kind enough to talk with me. I contacted him through LinkedIn, and I told him that I had some opportunities to get into biotech, and would he spend a few minutes talking with me about it? And that's what he did. And he basically told me what I needed to know. He told me that I needed to understand the drug discovery process.
Okay, so you learned a bit of the business from somebody. You didn't go in completely blank, but here's another issue everybody, even Pistachio can answer on this one if he wants to. I've read on LinkedIn from these super salespeople that if you go into a discovery session, an intake session, and you have to ask them a lot of questions, like your client, because you don't really know their milieu, okay, that they lose confidence in you. There's only a limited number of questions, okay? So isn't that a problem for a generalist recruiter, scaring the client away? I've had that problem. Why should I deal with you when there's other recruiters who work on 50 jobs like this a year? They don't have to ask me a million questions. Anybody want to answer that?
It helps when you work a niche. It helps when you work a niche. And that's why you talk to all these guys and they always say, do it.
Yeah, but Kelly said she was good at building rapport, even though she didn't work a niche, okay? So
and you can do it. And when you say she didn't work a niche, did you work on secretary jobs in Chicago and then plant managers in Boise, or were you at least in some type of vertical or there's two types, in my opinion, there's three types of niches. There's vertical, horizontal, and local. So I place anybody in Chicago or anybody in Boise, or I place anybody in construction, or I place anybody who's a CFO, right? So when you say you weren't doing a niche, you literally, it didn't matter if the job was in Boise, Idaho, Chicago, it was a plant manager or a sales rep, or could you even pull together somewhat of a niche, like it was local or it was?
Hey, we get the
industry?
message, and I got to tell you something. You're smart enough to understand if you work any kind of job in Philadelphia, that's not working a niche. That's a generalist. Okay?
Yes, it is. No, it's all of
it isn't. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm getting nowhere with you guys. Does anybody else want to talk about how they build rapport? Pistachio, how do you build rapport? We already know what Rich does.
A lot of what Rich said. I mean, yeah, I do. I was on a phone call yesterday, and I said to the hiring manager, went to IUP, and I said, as long as we get you any candidates, we make sure we don't get anybody from IUP, right? And he starts laughing, right? You do stuff, if I see that they play rugby, I'll bring that up because I play rugby or golf or anything that I can pull off of their LinkedIn profile, or I'll Google them real quick if I can find anything about them that in their personal life or quasi-professional life that would make a conversation starter. I'm talking to them. We'll find you a bunch of engineers. We'll do blah blah blah. As long as they don't come from Clemson, right? You don't want any of those Clemson guys, and he'll start laughing. And they go, and if I bring you Auburn guys, you're really going to be pissed, right? Since you went to Clemson, it's stuff like that, right? That's how you get camaraderie.
Okay,
build
wait a
rapport.
second, Ernie. I'm coming to you. Don't worry. But Pistachio, okay, 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Rich answered that question. We're not talking about this in the abstract. He says that's one of the pillars of his success. It's one of the things that make him a big biller over five. The question was, if you're billing over $500,000 a year, I know you taught, maybe I think you commented on that one, but so you consider building rapport just by talking about somebody's stupid university as one of the keys to your success. It makes you a big biller.
Right now, I got sending out. Went to University of Maryland. I live in Maryland. I'm a Terrapin fan. That was immediate rapport. I started go. I left him a thing that says "Fear the turtle." I got immediate callback. Fear the turtle. Immediate. That's all I had to do. Hey, I'm a headhunter. Fear the turtle. He called me back. That's it.
Right? I think
you have to know how to play the game.
Universities, your alma mater, it's far more important than it is here. Nobody cares really what school you went to here. Over to Ernie.
You just talk about whether or not you have coffee in that shitty coffee joint.
As Tom gave his examples, one of the things that's consistent is once you get them to smile, once you get them to laugh a little bit, that's when you know you're good. If you look at Rich, and how he presents things, he's always smiling, he's always laughing. It's always got to be that upbeat. And the reason being that people that work in any of these industries are under a lot of stress. And they know they're going to go from your conversation to a stressful situation. So for that short time, you want to take advantage and make it a lively conversation. And you want to make sure that when they talk to you, they're going to come out feeling all right, but they're not going to come out stressed. And that's what these guys are doing. Every one of these examples comes out with somebody laughing, agreeing, feeling good about themselves.
Okay, I see that Tommy and Rich, they have that nature. Kelly's different. She's not even bubbly. Okay, she's just friendly. I think.
You wouldn't know her. You know, she's very bubbly. She's very
I spent
friendly.
over an hour with her already on one of those shows. It was,
a
pretty
whole
much,
hour? Oh man, that's wild.
that's a long time. Some people get married after an hour. Okay.
Some people are stupid too.
Well, the whole thing is we're talking about building rapport. We want to build rapport in 5 minutes or less, right?
That's a gift. That's a gift.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's a talent, okay, that for some reason I don't have. It's an inborn talent. Kelly, would you say it's an inborn talent? You're somebody who people like. You're likable.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is that
I mean, I will start a conversation in the grocery store line. And by the time we get through, I already know what the guy does for a living, how many kids he's got. That's every person I meet. I try to learn everything about them. What do you do? Anybody I start talking to, what do you do for a living? It's the second thing that comes out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ask them how much they get paid, which you're not supposed to ask, and they will tell you.
Yeah,
well, it depends on the country you're in. Some people do say the first thing in their country they ask how much money do you make? Okay, now actually, Amy, who was the guest last week, she posted. I posted a clip from last week's show on LinkedIn, and she said, "This is how Tom and I became friends." She commented on it. You could have fooled me. We're talking over each other left and right. Okay, but anyway, so much.
I think she liked my schmo comment.
I thought it was fair. There's a lot of schmoes. She has a lot of schmoes. Like I said, if 90% of your replies to a job are not suitable at all, those people are schmoes, and don't say they're not. Okay, so I supported you in that. Okay. Here's what somebody else said is the key to their success. Okay. Well, actually, somebody else want to comment with what Rich said? Don't be busy as opposed to productive. Anybody got a comment on that? Is that turning anybody on? Oh yeah, I'm really into that. No, nobody wants to say anything. No. I'll tell you what Rich does, which he didn't say as one of his things. He's got a virtual assistant. He hands off all that stuff to the virtual assistant in the Philippines or wherever that person is, right? So that's how he stays productive as opposed to just busy. Have a VA. Anybody else want to comment on how they're productive instead of just busy? Anybody? No? Going once? Going twice?
I'm not productive. That's my issue. I'm on your show.
He says, I'm lazy. I'm this, I'm that. You're not lazy. I can tell. Okay. Okay.
I was sleeping at 9 o'clock this morning. Yeah, I'm not lazy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you do it. Yeah, he says, I like to get up at 8:30 and have coffee with my wife. Okay, that doesn't mean you're lazy. You work from home. Okay. That's a compliment to your wife, or you still want to have coffee with her after all these years, okay?
The problem is she don't have coffee with me.
Yeah. Okay. But here's somebody else said, another big biller. She said, I turn down all business that is outside of my niche. Okay. She says, I get call-ins and I get repeat business. This is her second one. But if you're not doing business development every single day, you're not going to make big numbers. Okay. Does anybody want to comment on that?
Your desk is a manufacturing plant. You have to have raw materials coming in. You have to manufacture the product and you have to put it out. If all you're doing is bringing in raw materials and you don't have the manufacturing going on, you're not going to produce deals. So yeah, it's a balance. You have the business development, you have to get candidates, and you have to make the two things come together. You're not, if you spend all your time business developing, unless you have a great sourcing recruiting team, you're gonna get screwed. You're gonna have all these jobs you can't fill.
There's a pile of recruiters who say, look, what you want to develop is inbound business. So you don't have to do business development. Post on LinkedIn, go on podcasts, and get people calling you because you've demonstrated your expertise in public. And I never have to make business calls anymore. I no cold calls. That's history. They call me. Okay. And you're saying, no, that's not true. Is that right, Tom?
I mean, I don't know anybody that does that. I don't know anybody that does not make outgoing business development calls or emails. I don't know anyone who sits there and the jobs just pour in. Maybe they do. Maybe they're working a weird niche where they're placing drivers and they're $8,500 a pop and they can just run ads all day long. Maybe, but for what we do, no. I mean, if I didn't make business development calls, if I didn't develop relationships, keep nurturing the clients I have, and work with the call-ins that I get, I wouldn't have jobs. I don't get that one. You have to follow up on leads.
You know what? I think Joe Mullings, he's definitely a call-in guy. And I talked to Kelly about him the first time she was on. And I think that Tom Pistachio, I think going out there with a film crew or even just one guy with a video, his kid or somebody, while he goes and shakes hands at a conference, I think that would be very good because he just said he's outgoing. He finds out everything about strangers that he meets. Okay. I think
I go to trade shows.
You take a camera with you?
No, I just talk to people. I don't do
but
this.
You want to talk to them and then post it on LinkedIn in little clips. So come on, smarten up. Then you'll be getting those inbound calls instead of having to play the phones after 20 years.
I guess maybe. I mean, yeah, there's probably some benefit to it. Not anything I've ever thought of doing.
You're behind the times, Ernie. You want to talk about?
Probably.
Yes, you have to do business development.
Ernie can't
every
figure out
day.
how to turn on his computer, so he's not doing that.
I go to Tom. I seek Tom's advice. No, it's all about branding. It's all about who you know. It's there's nothing very scientific about it. There's going to be a million ways. Everybody comes up with their own style, their own system, and it all goes down to how you do your own business. Now,
okay, so what this woman said, okay, I get call-ins and repeat business, but if you're not doing business development daily, you're not going to make big bucks. You don't agree with her. You said everybody's got their own
No.
What is big bucks to her?
She's $1 million biller.
Then she's got her own system.
Yeah,
Does she have
okay.
There's nothing wrong with doing business development every day if it's half your day. That's how we were trained. I recruit in the morning and I business development in the afternoon. That's how I was trained that way. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you can do that as long as you have a good system in place and you can fill the jobs you have. Absolutely.
Okay. Kelly, are you still with us or just turned
She's on
off
the
your
phone.
video? She's on the phone.
I'm here. I'm eating.
Oh, you're back? Okay.
Okay,
She's
well, I
eating.
don't mind if you're eating. I like to see people eating as long as you're not wearing it at the same time.
No. Okay.
Okay, but do you want to comment on that, that you always have to do BD every single day, business development?
Yep.
Do you agree with her?
I agree. I agree with Pistachio.
And there's no way that you can build a pipeline that just comes to you after a number of years?
I guess anything is possible, but I don't think.
Okay.
I mean, I heard $1 million biller chat recently. Somebody who does nurse recruiting, and she's been doing it a long time. Maybe she doesn't have to do business development. The hospitals and the places that she places with know her, and maybe she doesn't have to. I don't know, but for the rest of us, I think we do.
We got the message. Okay, so Bernie's Ernie's an abstainer. He says everybody's got their own path in life, right? These two are business development types. I also agree with them. BD. Nobody comes to me. Okay,
well,
there you go.
But what I'm telling you though is that everybody has their own system, and if they're successful and they stick in this business and they've been in here more than 10, 15 years, they have their system that's working for them. The thing you got to do is, as it evolves, you gotta know what the new tricks are, the new tools, the new this. You have to keep learning.
Too vague. Okay, I'm moving on.
Too vague?
Okay. Yeah, he's just talking about, Joe, you got to learn, you got to stay in touch, but he doesn't say what that is. He's not saying what that actually is.
I mean, okay, so for me, it would be learning how to do email marketing, which I don't know anything about because I didn't grow up in that industry. Kelly's really good at it, so I ask her all the time to help me with that, right? So that's learning the new tricks.
Why didn't Kelly offer that just now when I asked her about business development? She said
Kelly doesn't like to share with other people.
Kelly doesn't like to share. She had like,
okay.
You gotta be.
I didn't know. That's okay.
Share it with the world.
Okay,
Shameless shares
that's
the world,
fine.
and that's
Okay.
fine. But
Yeah,
so
I'll share some
Chat
stuff, but-
GPT, learn Chat GPT, learn
You-
email marketing, learn Facebook, whatever. Like new stuff comes along, you have to stay with the trends, and you could be as vague as you want, or as I can list you all the stuff that I've learned in the last 10 years.
Michael, you have to understand that the three of us here get together every Friday, and we have a round table that we discuss things and we share things and we work.
And Ernie and I talk at least twice a week. Otherwise,
And I talk to Kelly at least 2 or 3 times a
Yeah.
week as well.
Really, everybody knows everybody better than me. Okay, I just know them from the show.
you're Canadian.
That's true. I'm in another country.
We
Okay,
set our limits.
But have
Okay.
you, can I ask something?
go ahead.
Did you
Yes.
guys see the how, I don't know if you follow DSP also, Animal, but he had he's teaching a seminar on how to create AI personas now. Now that seems to be where we're gonna have to go.
Why?
What's an
Non-digital
AI
marketing.
persona?
It does it for you. You guys need to. I didn't sign up for it, but I wish I had.
What is
Okay,
AI
I'm going to tell you
persona?
something. No, I want to tell you something about personas because they were hot here for a while. Okay, persona, it means you just sort of do a demographic analysis of your perfect target candidate, and then you adjust your marketing to that person so that if it's you're marketing Mr. Clean, you want to see, is it the husband who buys it, the mom, or the single person, and then you adjust your market. Oh, you give me a chance, Ernie.
Too vague, too vague.
Okay, so you adjust it, but then, shift it over to a recruiter. You're dealing with some kind of developer, and so where are they going to hang out and things like that, and you adjust it to them. So you have to take on a persona to meet their persona. So I assume that what Kelly means is that you ask ChatGPT to advise you who those other people are, what their persona is, and what you have to do or pretend to do to get through to them, to talk their lingo, build rapport. Is that right? Is that what you're saying? You're using ChatGPT to build rapport, Kelly?
Oh my God, you wear me out, Animal.
So go to his show, okay?
It's basically creating the prompts for you to create all of your outbound marketing and your online marketing materials. The AI persona will write marketing messages that sound like pistachio, and it will continually do this. So they create all of the prompts, and basically create all of this stuff for you so that you don't have to go to some, stinking trainer that has no experience in recruiting that says he's going to do this for you. You can, they'll give you the prompts and you can use it to do it yourself. Did that answer the question?
So you say ChatGPT, write me a bunch of emails like Rich Rosen would do it. Is that how you do it? Is that what we're talking
I
about?
guess I didn't learn about
Or
it.
that would attract, or that would attract a Rich Rosen, I think is what it means.
Okay.
But again, I don't want to put too, look, and Kelly might be right. I don't want to put too much emphasis on AI because this is a personal industry. You are developing a relationship with a person, and AI can't do that. It may help you
Okay.
down in the beginning to narrow your niche, but
So let me ask you a question. So authenticity, well, everyone was talking, that was another fad. Authenticity, got to be authentic. Now you're using ChatGPT. Authenticity is out the window. Am I right? You're asking it to fake for you. Am I right?
Yeah.
Anybody?
There's good things about ChatGPT. It's not going to replace me. I'm not worried about it.
Because independent recruiters do a totally different thing than internal recruiters, and internal recruiters try to say they're the same as us, and there's no way they are the same.
Okay,
What's
that brings. Go ahead,
Ernie,
Kelly.
what's the biggest difference from your perspective from a corporate recruiter to a headhunter, now it's third-party recruiter?
From an internal to us.
External.
360. Yeah, it's the business development side. They don't have to do the business development side.
Couldn't,
They
you
don't
know,
have to.
but like Rich says, doing business development is the exact same as contacting candidates. Okay, so
No, it's not.
Rich doesn't say that.
He absolutely says it.
No, he doesn't.
No.
No, he doesn't.
I want to hear
No,
Pistachio say
no.
why it's not the
So,
same.
this is what I asked because I've had a lot of people come to me. Hey, Tom, I'm a recruiter. I've been doing this for 7 years. I want to go off on my own. Where do you work? I'm in house, right? Business development. Tell me how you're going to develop business. Tell me what you're going to say when they say we don't use recruiters. We don't pay fees. What are you going to say? And they are at a loss for words. This is a sales job on the business development side. If you have never sold anything, and don't tell me that selling Post or Amazon or Microsoft to a candidate is selling, because all it is like, we're the biggest company, come work for us. That's not selling. I'm talking about selling your service, something to somebody who doesn't need anything, and you're not selling them a product, you're selling them yourself. And if you've never done that before, that is the single hardest thing to do. And it is all rejection. The first 3 months is nothing but rejection. 3 months of go fuck yourself for 3 months.
That is true. Amazon calls you. Walt Disney calls you. The Dodgers
I don't work in a
call
house.
you,
I don't represent big companies, so I can't comment. But I will tell you, when it comes to business development, it is the single hardest part of this business. You've never done it before, and you have all this. Confidence. You've been this great recruiter for 8 years, filling these positions. Your boss tells you how great you are. Candidates tell you how great you are, and then you go out in the real world and pick up that phone and start calling, small companies, telling them how wonderful you great you are, and you can't get anywhere. You get no traction. They don't give a shit that you filled 50 positions at Amazon or at Post or wherever. They don't care. And you're going up against competition too. It's not like you're the only game in town. So you're this new kid on the block who has no experience in our industry, doesn't know how to sell himself, has nothing to fall back on to say, look, I did this. You can call this company. I can do that tomorrow and go, here's 7 references. Call them. In the beginning, I couldn't do that. For the first 3 months of my life, all I did was make 100 phone calls a day saying, hi, my name's Tom Alascio. I just interviewed a great project manager. When would you like to interview him? Tomorrow at 4 or Tuesday at 6? And got hung up on
Okay. Tom has a TikTok channel that's full of these nice short tips. You don't have to listen to a lot of stuff. He just hammers you over the head with it. I posted one of them in my Facebook group this week. It was handling objections from people who say, I'm happy where I am. Okay. If somebody is doing that with a candidate, what's the difference in doing that with a potential client?
There's not, but you have to have that. What rebuttal are you going to use? When a client says to you, we don't have any openings, what are you going to say?
Well, you move on to a strategic
No. I didn't call you because I thought you had any openings. I called you because I have a candidate that is head and shoulders the best in the industry right now. He could hit your team, hit the ground running. You could replace a candidate who's a low performer with him today. Why wouldn't you at least talk to him? Talking to him is free.
So that's a Steve Finkel gambit. Just think about, he says, think about someone in your office, Joe, who works at half a level.
Comes in late every day, leaves early, late from lunch.
He said,
you can do that.
This guy is a heads down. Yeah, that's where this guy is a heads down worker. You're going to love him. And I said to myself when I read that the first time, I said, I could never do that. Okay.
I mean, his rebuttals are still legit today. You have to kind of bend them a little bit, but his rebuttals are just as relevant today as they were 20 years ago, and they still work for me. If a company tells me, now I am an asshole, company says we don't use recruiters and we don't pay fees, I go, oh, that's awesome. And they go, what? I go, yeah, you're a source. If you don't pay recruiters and don't pay fees, then I'm just going to take your employees, because why would I try and not? You have to have a sense of humor when you're on the phone. You have to everything has to roll off your shoulders. What's his name? Says, I never see failure as failure. I see it as a game I have to play to win. I see it as getting closer to my next deal. Right? Steve, some real estate guy. I never see failure as failure. I only see it as a game I need to play to win. That's it. Failure is this game. 90% of my day is failure. 90% of my day is losing. But when I do win, it's huge fees, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. But 3 months of working on search, getting told to go pound sand, whatever it is, it's failure, failure, failure. And then boom, finally you win.
What's your rapport like with a client after you've threatened to turn to his face to turn him into a source?
Usually they hang up on me, or they'll backtrack and say, oh, no, I just said that to get you off the phone. And I can sometimes, Hardly ever, but sometimes I can turn it around to a maybe down the road. Well, we can work together, yada yada yada.
So why would you threaten the guy if it
does?
does? Why would you threaten a guy like that if it doesn't do anything for you?
Because it's fun.
Okay.
I get shit on all day long. Now I get to go shit on somebody else. Are you serious?
No. The idea behind it is to turn them in, to get them scared, and say, "Okay, Tommy, it's like a shit."
Or just to piss them off so they remember who I am. Because every time someone puts a notice in, they go, "Damn, I wonder if Tom took that guy." That guy I pissed off and told me he's going to steal my people. Every time someone puts in their notice, he's thinking, "Is it me?"
And it's not the last time you're going to talk to him. You're going to call him again, and you're going to call him again, and they got to know who you are.
Ready to pay fees yet? You ready to pay fees yet?
I bet Ernie doesn't do that. I'll bet you don't tell people, "Oh, you're going to be a source. Do you work with me, or you're going to be paying me? Your own staff's going to start bleeding."
I don't do it.
So many clients out there. You don't have to.
It depends on your it depends on your personality and what you can get away with.
Okay, yeah, but you're nodding your head constantly while Tom is saying he's doing
because I know Tom and I believe he can do that. I believe he does that.
Okay, but I bet Ernie doesn't also say, "Listen, I got a great production manager here. Your guy probably stinks. Okay, you should take a look at."
Don't say it that way though, and that's the thing. You have to say it very diplomatically. I understand.
It doesn't sound like you were being diplomatic.
I understand you don't have any openings. I have an individual who is from your direct competitor, who was a #1 sales guy last 3 years in a row. The cost of it is free to talk to him. Isn't that worth the price of admission alone to talk to this guy to see if you can find a spot for him on your team? It's a #1 sales guy for your direct competitor. You don't want to talk to him? What type of sales manager would say no to that?
You'll say that to a guy? What kind of dope are you, essentially? Is that what you say?
No. I'm asking you that question, Mike. I wouldn't say it to him, but most sales managers they'll say, "Okay, fine, I'll talk to your guy. Maybe you're right. #1 direct competitor, absolutely. I'll have a conversation. It costs, it's free."
Okay, Kelly, these are your bros, okay? They've all praised you about how much they love you and they talk with you regularly.
Yeah, their checks are in the mail.
Do you play hardball like they do?
No, because as you know, Animal, I work an embedded model. And so my process and the way that I work is different than that.
Okay, so BD, you don't think BD is necessarily the key to your success, business development?
Well, I need to do it, yeah, but I don't. Sometimes I market candidates to get business development, but
do you care to tell us how you do business development without marketing a candidate? And you don't have to. I understand. I fully respect everybody. You don't have to come here and give your secrets away. Okay, you don't even have to say a word. But I'm giving you, if you want to talk about it, I'm giving you the opportunity.
I do a lot of email marketing.
Okay, like these guys said, "Oh, you're the queen of email marketing."
She is amazing at it. She's amazing.
Okay, so all this stuff about mail gun that I was thinking, this Tom knows everything. You get it from somebody else, right? You just had a conversation with
the mail gun.
You had a conversation with her, then you come on this show and act like an expert, and I go, "Wow, he's good."
Yeah, that's right.
Her and I discussed the mail guns and whatnots, and that's the thing. Some of the services use them, some of them don't. The service she uses it, as Loxo does. So it's if you're doing email marketing of any sort, you should know that. You should know about Mailgun or at least a similar service. You just should.
There's one more question that she said. She said, and this relates, I think, perhaps to what Rich said. Always be looking to upgrade your clientele. What does that mean? Dump some of your. It's like the forced. What's that called? Forced grading for your staff. You only keep the top ones and let the bottom ones go, even if they're really good people. In
Start
this case,
selling engagement fees. Dump your contingent clients if they won't pay a fee, and that's what you want to do. Something that I did. I started saying, all I'm doing, you have to work on engagement. If you work on engagement, hit the road. Right. So you could do that. That's a way of replacing.
You actually, how did you say that to them? Can you were willing to share that?
Based on the current employment climate and the candidate market, we are not able to work on contingency searches right now. We have too many searches on an engaged basis. We value you as a client, but as of right now, if you want us to help us fill this position, you're going to have to pay an engagement fee.
Yeah, but you don't charge large engagement fees. If someone's worked with you a number of times, why would they resist that? Do people resist it?
There's some clients I do like one deal a year with, right? that resisted it and then called me back after they couldn't fill it on their own and called some other recruiters. So yeah, you do occasionally walk away from business. I mean, I've been doing this 26 years, so I can get engaged with anybody I ask. But in the beginning, when I was doing this and making this transition, I got pushback, and it just happened. People have been, dude, you've been doing this for 7 years for us. Why do you don't trust us? No, it's not that I don't trust you. It's that I can't prioritize you over the companies that are paying me up front. I got to help them first. And if I do come across someone, I'll send them to you. But if you want me to do a search for you, we only do searches on an engaged basis.
Okay, I'm going to say something that I think a big biller, it's one of their keys to success. They don't mind conflict. Am I right about that? Like Rich and Tom, they've told us both a number of times. No, they'll deliver messages. I don't want to work with you unless you work on my terms. But they say it in a way, like Ernie pointed out, with sort of a bubbly personality. You know, you know what they don't. And if they say, "Look, Tom, I don't want to work with you," Tom doesn't take offense. He just tells them like it is, right?
I understand. My fees are too high. I know a lot of cheaper recruiters. I'll get you their numbers. You can use them.
Would you agree with me, Ernie, then that this is they handle conflict in a lighthearted way?
They're good at what they do. They're good at what they do, but that's the whole thing. You learn all that stuff as you go along.
Well, I just think it's
learning. It's not something they learned at the year one. It's something they've learned. I mean, you look at Tom, you look at Kelly, you look at Rich. It's all something that they've developed, that they've learned from other people. Not what to say, but how to say it.
Okay. Rich was number one in his office and maybe the Eastern Seaboard after 6 months, and he left to work on his own. I'll bet Tom was also very successful very quickly. Am I right or wrong?
I was number one. I was the rookie of the region. My first year, I was number one in my region. The second year, so top 10 in the nation.
It doesn't take a lot of time to learn if you have the right orientation.
I was a bartender, and I have a very outgoing personality. I've always had one. So it was easy to take what I learned, how to deal with people at all. And I use Yale or jail. I can talk to anybody, whether they just graduated from Yale or just got out of jail, right? It's always been very easy for me. So this was easy to do. I didn't get intimidated talking to a CEO or a superintendent. It didn't bother me. So I was able to leverage all the experience I had prior into this and really, really strive and not care. I don't care about rejection. I don't.
What experience as a bartender? Mm-hmm. What experience? How does being a bartender relate to what you were doing here? You just told us it's your personality, that you existed before you became a bartender. See, Kelly,
I've always had this outgoing personality,
and I'm able. They say things that doesn't make sense.
To take my ability to deal with. I worked at a resort, right? So guys who are making millions and millions of dollars liked me just as much as the redneck family who came in for the weekend. I could develop relationships. It didn't matter. Everybody liked me. Everybody remembered me. They came in. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? I'm that type of person. I'm not trying to brag, but people like to be around me. I'm funny. I'm happy. I'm go-lucky. I make people laugh. I try to make people feel good about themselves. I compliment everyone, and I just use that same thing when I develop business and when I recruit candidates. And I got to do it on the phone. And it's hard for some people, but I did it.
To put it into one word, it's you know how to hustle. You know how to hustle. Mm-hmm. And you know how to work people, and you listen and you pick up from what they say, and sometimes you repeat what they say. You make them happy. They love you for it.
Stupid things like when people say, "I'll see you later," I'll say, "I'll see you later" too. I don't say, "I'll talk to you later." Right? I listen to the auditory, visual, and kinetic words people use and try to mimic that. If someone's from the South, I put on the Southern drawl just a little bit and say, when I talk to them, to make them feel like they're talking from somebody they know. And if I'm talking from a guy from New York, I can talk to him like this. "Hey, man, this is Tommy Alascio. You and I spoken. We were talking about that job in New York." That guy understood everything I said.
Yeah, I don't believe any of that stuff. I've sort of tried it, and it doesn't work. And I believe Kelly doesn't believe it either, but she's being safe in the corner. She's not saying, "This is baloney. I don't do any of those things."
I know, Tom.
No, but I'll bet you don't do it, okay? I'll bet you don't.
It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone.
Okay. You got to use it towards your personality.
That means you don't mimic that. He says he's going to see me rather than talk to me, and it's very important that I use that verb instead. That's not important at all.
Important, but it's something that you can. It's little things like that
Or
that-
you mimic their
they'll pick up.
posture. That's baloney.
I can't mimic their posture. I can't see them,
Okay.
but I will
Yeah.
mimic
No,
kind
but
of
I
how
mean,
they
these
talk.
are
If
the
they
things
talk
that
fast,
these
I'll
are the
talk fast.
things.
I
these are the
talk
things-
fast. I have to learn to slow down when I talk to engineers because they can't talk and listen as fast as I talk. And if I talk like I usually talk to everybody all the time, then these engineers aren't going to listen to a word I have to say because it goes right over them. So
He
I
has
have
to
to
slow down. He has to slow down when he talks to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's I want to say something before I forget because my memory is starting to fail me. I watched, and I think it's worth watching. There's a documentary on Netflix now about Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's very complimentary, even though they handle all his negative stuff, right? You know, his illegitimate kid. You can't help but feeling bad about his marriage breaking up because of that and things. But they stress, and he also stresses that he's got a personality. He likes to, like a party type of personality. He likes to make people feel comfortable with them and bring people together and have fun. And that's also his excuse for feeling up women that he thought he was just playing around with.
Okay, you're going overboard there.
He said he thought it was a joke. Okay, it was, and then they came back 20 years later, and when he was running for governor, and said he molested them. Right. So, but that he explained it even in that context. This is his personality of bringing people together, having fun. Tom is saying he's also.
I'm a touchy-feely person. I will say that I'm a touchy-feely person, so I have to be careful in today's environment. I am a very touchy-feely person, so I have to be careful.
He's Italian.
Yeah, all Italians are like that.
I still kiss my father every time I see him. I hug and kiss my dad every time I see him.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain cultures where you do that and it's just acceptable.
Actually, Palermo is actually not just in Italy; it's in Sicily. Am I right about
Sicily, my friend? Yes.
Be careful. Be careful.
You know, there's a lot of hex.
And a fungu.
Okay, we're gonna have to start talking like the Sopranos here pretty
So
soon.
I want to real quick to back up. We were talking about your business development, and one thing popped in my brain about lower fees. I love this rebuttal. A client says we only pay 15%. I say, you use other recruiters? Yeah. How come you haven't hired anybody at 15%? Well, they don't have anybody. I go, well, I charge 15% too when I don't have anybody. I love, that's one of my favorite rebuttals when I get that low fee stuff. I say, yeah, when I don't have candidates, I charge 20% too. But when I have candidates, 25%.
That's good one. I like it.
Supply and demand. Okay. Anybody want to say anything before we go?
No, I love talking with you guys. I
like
really
it too.
enjoy it. I feel like this is a Friday thing with Michael here, but other than me and Tony. But no,
recruiting
I love
animal.
coming
Okay,
on.
recruiting animal. I have to learn on. I have to. This Google Meet is. How does it compare?
Well,
for you guys?
you had Michael right there written.
I'm gonna change it because I'm on Google Meet now, not on Zoom. I have to. I'm afraid to change my name, and then it won't want to change back. Okay, so I'll have to try that.
I think you need to say the animal from the animal kingdom.
No, okay, that's your point of view. Just like everybody's different. That's what you're completing. Okay. Anyway, Kelly Nelson, do you have a website you want to tell us?
Do I have a website I want to tell you?
Yeah.
Right hand recruiting.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Okay, you don't have
I don't want you to go to it because it sucks and I need to redo it.
Okay.
I've
Ernie
been trying to type stuff off of Tom's website.
I took it from Candy Bowen, so feel free.
Okay. Ernie is food industry recruiter. I had to buy that for him. Okay. and Palermo Roads is
PRSearchInc.com.
Too complicated. And our good friend Kelly. Thanks,
You
everybody.
need to buy him something. Bye.
I think I learned how to turn it off. Stop recording. Bye-bye.